jokes. And there's one joke that he shared with me that has stuck with me all these years because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And the joke goes, here's the definition. Force feeding a sheep a confectionery delight. What's the word? Ram-a-lam-a ding-dong.
I saw that.
You have to be old enough to know what a ding-dong is. For those of you that don't know, it's perfectly politically correct as an expression. I just want to be clear there.
And what that started was actually a mutual appreciation of music. And so as we moved over to NPNI, and we both got involved in the voice over IP project, we learned a few things together about managing servers and setting up IP phones connected to those servers. And unfortunately, we didn't have a private segregated IP network for the servers early on, the test servers. And if you remember, I think it was Mother's Day around 2000. Anybody remember what virus hit? It was
Code Red.
It was the Melissa virus. And we were scheduled to give a presentation like shortly after that to the campuses about what we were going to do with the future of voice at University Park. And Phil said, hey, I've got this Allman Brothers tune, Sweet Melissa. He said, you ought to use that for when you stand up at the Nittany Lion Inn, you know, play the intro, see if anybody gets it. I think Phil and I were the only two people in the entire room when we played the song that actually understood the connection. Anyway.
I think that might have been a setup, by the way. I'm just saying.
But he was always sharing, you know, his music collection with me, and we'd swap stories about, you know, bands and the good old days of 70s rock and roll. So I remember also when we implemented voice over IP in production, we decided to do the NPNI suite as the first group that would cut over. And we were quite ready. And Phil said, we're doing it. There's no more delaying. And so one night after work, we stayed here. It was in January of 2002. And we just started going around the suite and putting the phones out. And that was the beginnings of voice over IP at Penn State. Now we have 16,000 phones later. And Phil was a large part of making that happen.
Does that count Hazleton?
Well, yeah, now we're 16,139.
I was reflecting on that when you said in 2000 you made a presentation about VoIP to the campus group.
Yeah. Yeah, it took
And here we are.
It's
16
Penn
years
State.
later.
We move a little slow. Yeah.
Hold on to those dreams. You might come through.
I think one other thing that Phil and I mutually shared together about just working with him in MPI. Somewhere in the early 2000s, we had a campus, or not a campus, another university representative who came to visit, and the school will remain unnamed, but
Kentucky.
well, not anymore. And this guy was, I think he was on a fishing trip or something, and he needed to justify being up north, and so he swung by our office and asked for an hour's worth of our time to talk about voice over IP. And we had 3 or 4 years under our belt at that point, and we're well on our way to implementing it. And he started talking about how they were doing it at their university. And after he walked out an hour later, I looked at Phil and he looked at me and we're like, man, are we happy we work here. Because just the organizational structure and the technical competence within the entire organization, you know, we were able to implement something over a period of about 8-9 years and really without much breaking. You know, we had our moments, but really we were on the leading edge, and it was fun to be part of a team that accomplished a lot and really saw something grow. The other thing that I remember in the midst of this was in September of 2001 when 9/11 happened. And I remember Phil got an email from Columbia University right around lunchtime. And they were looking for help to get phones connected because the Manhattan central office was either swamped or broken, or, I mean, calls just could not be processed out of Manhattan. But the internet connections were up. And so Phil came to me and he said, hey, we have a chance here to help out Columbia University. Can we register some of their phones at their location over the internet back here so that people could call out, because our CO was fine. You know, we didn't have any problems here with the number of phone calls. And so Phil worked with their director of telecom, and we got two IP phones up and working. They gave me their MAC addresses. We got them into our server, and they put their 2 phones in the student union at Columbia and basically put signs in front of them that said, you need to call your parents in Israel or wherever you're from, because Columbia has, you know, a large concentration of international students. Let them know you're okay. And here's the phone numbers you can advertise. So they could call in to 814 area code, have the call land here at University Park, and then traverse the internet to get to those 2 IP phones and ring them. So for the next 24, 48 hours, you know, we just let them call as much as they wanted to. And Gary Augustin gave us approval to, you know, he said, I'll foot the bill, whatever it costs, we'll, you know, we need to help them out. And so that was fun to be a part of something to try and help on a day that, you know, America was really in a tough situation, so.
And we were mentioned in Network World.
Yeah, he just last week, he's cleaning out his office and he brings in the Network World article and he hands it to me, he's like, here, you can keep this now.
That's cool.
So anyhow, it was a fun time to work together. I really appreciated Phil's teamwork and his, kind of as you were mentioning, just his positive approach to everything. It was a good ride. And I told him last week, I said, the definition of jealousy is watching someone that comes in, starts after you, and is able to leave before you. So
You probably have that a lot, by the way, but
so best wishes to you. God bless.
Thank you.
yeah, it's interesting too, man. Because I mean, if you think about the legacy that Phil leaves, and you know, and